You're just trying to buy one thing. That should take, 30 seconds? It doesn't. First, you need an account. Then you need to verify your email. Your password needs a symbol, a number, a capital letter, and apparently a personality. The code expires. So you request another one. A pop-up asks if you want 10% off. In exchange for hearing from them forever, you close it, and somehow, you still haven't actually bought the thing. Technology was supposed to make this easier. So why does spending money sometimes feel like doing tasks? Why does buying a shelf turn into a weekend plan? Why does canceling one subscription feel like escaping a building? And the weird part is, this keeps happening everywhere. You run into the store for 3 things. And now you're checking yourself out. You scan one item. It beeps. You scan the next. Unexpected item in bagging area. You pause. Look around. Like you just broke a rule you didn't know existed. Annoying, but fine. Then later, you buy something online. It should take a minute. Instead, you're creating an account, verifying your email, resetting your password because it didn't meet requirements you just learned about, waiting for a code, entering the code, and hoping this time it works. Now it's not a purchase, it's a process. Then something goes wrong. So you go to customer support, and now you're explaining your problem to something that doesn't understand problems. You rephrase it, simplify it, try again, and somehow you leave the interaction, feeling like you did something wrong, like the system worked, and you didn't. That's when it starts to feel different. Not faster, not easier, just heavier. So what changed? Because it wasn't always like this. There was a time when businesses handled more of the process. You walked into a store, and you didn't have to figure anything out. You told someone what you were looking for, and they helped you find it. You didn't stand there comparing reviews. You just asked, and that answer carried weight. Not because it was perfect, but because it came from someone who dealt with it all day. You weren't expected to research everything. You weren't expected to optimize every decision. You weren't expected to get it exactly right. You just had to decide. And if you got it wrong, you didn't start over from scratch. You went back, explained what happened, and someone helped you fix it. There was a kind of safety built into the system. A feeling that if something didn't work, you weren't on your own. That part is easy to forget. Because now, if something doesn't work, you start troubleshooting. They handled the checkout. They answered questions. Sometimes they even carried things out for you. And if something went wrong later, you went back and talked to a person who could fix it. No menus, no tickets. No, we've received your request. Just a conversation. The expectation was simple. If you were the customer, the business handled the work. That was part of what you were paying for. But people cost money, wages, training, scheduling. So when companies realized customers were willing to do some of the work themselves, that changed things. Self-service became the turning point. Instead of asking someone to gather your items, you walked the aisles, picked them out, brought them up, and honestly, people liked it. It felt faster, more flexible. Sometimes cheaper. It made sense, and that's the key. At the time, it worked, and that's where it should have stopped. But it didn't. Once people accepted doing a little bit of the work, it didn't stop there. It expanded. You buy one piece of furniture, it arrives in a flat box. You open it, and it unfolds into parts. More parts than you expected. You lay everything out. Try to make sense of it. You find the instructions, no words, just diagrams. Step 1 seems easy, so you start. Then you realize you might have used the wrong piece. So you backtrack. Try again. Now something doesn't line up. So you loosen everything. Adjust it. Tighten it again. Time passes. You check the clock. What was supposed to take 20 minutes has turned into your afternoon. And you're still not done. You look back at the instructions. Realize you skipped something or did something out of order. So now you're undoing what you already did just to get back to where you were. At some point, you stop thinking about the product entirely. You're just trying to finish the process. And the goal shifts. It's not build this thing correctly. It's be done with this. Remember when buying something meant taking it home, not building it? Or you try to cancel a subscription. It's easy to sign up. One click. But canceling? That's different. You log in. Find the settings. Scroll past things that don't help. Click something that looks close. It opens another page. Then another. You think you found it, but it's just information, not the actual button. So you keep going. And at every step, it almost works. Almost, not blocked. Just delayed. And the longer it takes, the easier it is to stop trying. So you pause. Tell yourself you'll come back to it later. And for a while, you forget about it until the charge shows up again. Now it's not just something you're managing, it's something you're trying to undo. And you're right back where you started. Looking for the same option. Clicking through the same pages, hoping this time you'll actually reach the end. This is the part people feel. But don't always say out loud, the work didn't go away. It just changed hands. All those small things you do now. Setting things up, keeping track of accounts, fixing problems when they come up. None of that is new work. It's the same work that used to exist behind the scenes. The difference is, you're the one doing it now. Not all at once, not in a way that's obvious. Just small pieces, spread out over time, so it never feels like a job. It just feels like part of life. And that's what makes it hard to see. Because nothing was taken away in one moment. It was handed off, one step at a time. And this is where it adds up, because it's not just one moment. It's all of them. You fix one thing, then another appears, you cancel one subscription, then another renews. You track one package, then another is delayed, and none of it feels urgent. None of it feels like a big deal. So it doesn't get counted, but it takes time. It takes attention. It takes energy. And it keeps coming back. A few minutes here, a few minutes there, until it becomes part of your day. Not something you notice, just something you deal with. It fills the gaps in your day. The moments in between other things, waiting in line, sitting on the couch, trying to relax, but remembering something you still need to fix. So you pick up your phone, open the app, start the process. Again, and it doesn't feel like work. Because it's scattered, because it's small, because it's yours. But over time, your day quietly fills up with things you didn't sign up for, that didn't used to belong to you, and none of it feels like work. And to be fair, this isn't all bad. A lot of this is better. Sometimes you don't want to wait in line. You don't want to explain what you need. You don't want to depend on someone else's timing. You just want to get it done. And now you can. You can order something late at night. You can fix something without leaving your house. You can handle things instantly. That's real convenience. And for a lot of people, that trade-off is worth it. Doing a little more yourself in exchange for speed, control, and flexibility. The problem is that line kept moving. What started as optional slowly became expected. And because it happened gradually, it never felt like a big shift until you see it all at once. So the next time something simple turns into a process, log in, verify, scan, track, assemble, update, cancel, it's not just you. You're doing work. That used to happen somewhere else, behind a counter, in an office, by someone whose job it was. Now it happens wherever you are, on your phone, at your kitchen table, in a parking lot, and it still doesn't feel like work, because no one calls it that, but it is. The system didn't remove the work. It just stopped paying for it. If you see everyday things a little differently now, that's the point. Subscribe for more stories about how normal things became normal. And tell me, what's one convenience that feels like work now?